Okay, one of my other complaints about lawyers is the fact that they will take either side of a case. For example, when I got a divorce, the second time it was a very bitter divorce, and my ex-wife was trying to get as much money out of me as she could, the woman from Russia. And because she had talked to American lawyers, and they found out that if you're married to an American guy, you can get like half of his assets or whatever. So she was asking for like an extremely unreasonable amount, considering how she tricked me into getting into marrying her, etc. But anyhow, what I found was that lawyers will take either side of a case, usually. For example, my lawyer was working for me because I was paying him and I got to him first. But if she would have gone to him, and he was supposedly one of the best lawyers in town, and very expensive, like $125 per hour, if she would have gone to him first, he would have taken her side of the case. So what was your comment when I said that much?
Well, this is because we're living in a material world, and that's the way lawyers are. They are finding those arguments. Well, I studied law, and you always have to find arguments for both sides, and then you have to make a decision in the end. But this is just in theory. Once you start practicing, of course you're gonna consider both arguments for both sides as well, because you have to kind of assume what arguments the other side is gonna bring before court. But still, you have to find whatever's your opinion, you have to find the stronger arguments for the side of the person you are working for, because that's the person who pays you.
Right, well, okay, now, the other part that I said I wanted to talk about for maybe the first time ever really publicly is that when I was with my mother one day talking to my lawyer, my mother and I were talking about some of the things that my ex-wife did, how she was lying about different things. My lawyer said something like, "Mrs. Hine, the truth doesn't matter." He said, "I just got somebody off who was guilty of murder. And he told me he did it." And my mother and I both just looked at each other. We could hardly believe our ears. But he said he just basically let someone go free, convinced a judge to let somebody go free who had told our lawyer that he had killed someone. And my lawyer was so, I think, we kind of frustrated him to the point where he just said it. We say blurted it out in English. He just blurted it out. He just jumped out of his mouth. And then he realized what he said. And there was just this uncomfortable silence. But he actually admitted that he got somebody off who was guilty of murder who told him he did it. What do you think about that? And this is supposedly one of the lawyers in the city that had one of the best reputations in town.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, what can I say? I mean, as a lawyer, you're always working for your reputation. And if you are trying to get criminals out of court, I think this is just the most difficult part, the most difficult task any lawyer can take. And it sounds crazy if I say I've got respect for those people, but they are doing a pretty tough job. And all I can say, it's just a job I would never want to do, exactly because of the fact that you might be in the situation, you know for sure this person is guilty, but you still have to, it's your task, your job, to help the person, kind of. I don't think I would know how to handle a situation like this.
I have a couple things to add to that. One is that you mentioned the reputation. They're worried about the reputation. Well, this particular lawyer, he didn't take that case in the city that we were in. He took that case in another city. I don't think he would have taken the case in the city he lived in because it would have looked too bad. And he looked really kind of embarrassed, ashamed, kind of a guilty look when he said this. And anyhow, but the other thing is, it seems to me that the legal system places a higher value on winning than it does on the truth. And you said, you have to help your client, but I think there's other ways to help someone than just by letting them go free. like in a way that helps them, but also it doesn't help society. And so the idea in law seems to me to be to win the case. That seems to be the most important thing, and I'd say that's a fundamental problem in the legal system. Is it the same way in Germany, by the way? Is that like, is it similar? Like somebody could somebody do that in Germany? Do you think somebody would represent somebody who was guilty of murder and let them go free?
Well, it's always, you've got the state prosecutor, so this is the person who actually brings the claim before court, and the person who's accused of a crime, he has his lawyer, and the lawyer is going to bring arguments trying to justify what his client actually did, but it's always up to the judge to make a decision. So, of course, if you've got a really good lawyer as a criminal, chances well chances that your punishment is gonna be less severe one are pretty good, and your lawyer might even be able to justify completely what you did, so to help you to win the case. But I don't think, well, I think I won't really say we've got a better system, but it's a different system. Um, I'm sure it could happen in Germany as well.